Have you ever wanted to send someone a piece of cake for their birthday? No? Well, let me change your mind. Hello friends, and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make this realistic looking piece of cake. But why? Why would you want to do that, you ask? So you can send it to your bestest friend on their birthday, of course. Make sure to stay to the end where I'll share my top 5 time-saving tips. To get the base shape of your cake, you're going to need a large sponge. I got mine from the automotive cleaning section. Since my sponge was super rounded, I decided to cut off the sides. I'm using a bread knife for this, but go ahead and use whatever works for you. Then you want to cut the sponge diagonally into 2 sections. I didn't do the best job at cutting, so I'm trying to straighten it all out. A little FYI, it crumbles just like real cake. Now you have 2 pieces of cake. I repeated this with my blue sponge. 4 pieces of cake coming up. So each piece will have a smooth side and a crappy cut up side. So next step is, wait, what are these? Just ignore them and move on. Now you want to mark the center where the icing line will be. Not wanting to cut my table, I used that extra piece from earlier to prop up the end. You'll want to put 2 cuts a little bit from either side of that line. That way we'll have a little trench to put the icing in. Then just trim that little French fry right out of there. See? Perfect trench. I'm still not liking those hips at the end, so I'm going to cut them flat, or as flat as I can get them. Still not perfect, but it's better. Time to take them outside and paint them whatever color you'd like with some spray paint. I chose pink and brown for mine. The brown made it instantly look like chocolate cake. Now I want cake. Then leave those to fully dry before the next step. Here are my pieces of cake. I have a strawberry one. I kept one of the slices the original blue because blue's a fun cake color, and my favorite, the chocolate one. Now we can start working on the icing. The icing will be made out of the silicone caulking, the same stuff that's used for windows and doors. I'm starting with the chocolate icing since chocolate is my favorite. I poured the brown and white caulking into a cup. Then I mixed it hoping for a light brown. It's still too dark, so I added more white. Now it just looks gray to me. So I'm adding some brown paint that has a reddish tint to it. Now it just looks red. Adding another shade of brown, and that's turning out much more like chocolate. I recommend using these disposable piping bags. Just scoop all that icing in there. Add a tip to the top and tape it down. Now you can pipe it just like real icing. I'm using the leftovers from the cup to ice the top and side. I'll explain this in my tips why I iced this first. Now pipe a stripe down the icing channel. Smooth that out since a cut piece of cake doesn't look like that. It actually looks real and delicious, but try not to lick your fingers or the cake. I piped little puffs on top. This is so cool. It even ices just like real icing. For the side, I added 1 row at the top and bottom. For the pink slice, I iced it and decorated it the same way as the chocolate one. But for this one, I'm going to be adding these super cute star-shaped sprinkles. I will talk more about sprinkles in my tips at the end. For the blue one, I added some blue paint to give the icing a nice light blue color. I only decorated the top for this one. Let those completely dry. Very important. Now we can move on to adding the card. I'm just going to trace each piece onto the card and cut it a tiny bit smaller than the line. I'm going to be using this Gorilla Glue. I coated each side, spread it out thinly, then let it dry a little. Then both pieces should be nice and tacky and ready to stick together. When that's dry, you can go ahead and write whatever you'd like on it. I'm designing mine to look like a postcard, but you could also stick an envelope to it. Now you can send somebody cake for their birthday. Wait a second. Let's get to those 5 time-saving tips. Tip number 1, icing color. Use gel food coloring instead of paint. This makes sure that the icing isn't too thin. I know this example shows white paint, but the same applies to other colors. All my peaks began sagging, and nobody likes saggy peaks. Tip number 2, don't use clear caulking. Make sure the tube doesn't say clear. You won't notice it right away because this, to me, looked good. This was the next day and it still wasn't dry. And that leads us into tip number 3, drying time. This is not an overnight project. Give yourself plenty of time. I know the tube says 24 to 36 hours, but we're not spreading a thin bead around a window frame. So expect longer dry times. This is what my blob of clear looks like after 4 days. Tip number 4, crumb coat. After adding the puffs to this piece, I accidentally dropped it and the icing didn't even stick to the sponge. So yes, just like a real cake, pre-ice your slice. And lastly, tip number 5, don't use real sprinkles. Use beads or homemade polymer clay sprinkles. These sprinkles began to break down and liquefy. And I'm sure if they get wet, they'll probably dissolve. So who would you send a piece of cake to? My dad has a birthday coming up. I think I'm gonna send him this one. Love you, Dad. Comment below what your favorite flavor of cake is. I have a playlist of actual cakes that look super cool and taste great. If you want more crafty ideas, click here to see the full playlist. Have an amazing day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!